Welcome back, Mouseketeers. Thanks for joining me today. I am a very tired Christina K. You could probably see it in my face. I just got back from Walt Disney World a matter of hours ago, but there was so much I wanted to talk to you guys about. So much happened in such a quick period. There's so many changes being made at Walt Disney World. Let's talk about the trip, what's going on, and just so you know, the haul, because a lot of you have been asking about when my next Walt Disney World haul is. That's probably going to be the next video. I just don't have everything in front of me just yet, but coming soon. Stay tuned. So I went for Valentine's weekend, kind of a long weekend. I thought it was going to be empty. I've been in February before President's Week. It's typically empty. I don't think there's such thing as a slow season anymore. I was very overwhelmed. I thought when I got to Orlando International Airport, it was so crowded, and I figured, well, you know what? It's a Saturday, it's an afternoon, I just don't ever fly at that time. I took a later flight than I normally do. No, it was just crowded in general. It was weird getting to the airport, not seeing the Magical Express. It's even weirder to see what they currently have running throughout Walt Disney World. It's called Mears Connect. They're the same Magical Express buses, but they just have a different look to them, and they're very Florida looking, and it doesn't blend in the way the Magical Express buses do. And it's so heartbreaking because that was a free service, and you know, when you checked your bags at whatever airport you're leaving from. So for me here in New York, I would check my bags here and I wouldn't see them again to my room. It was a free, amazingly magical service that no longer exists as of January 1st. So it's tough. The Mears Connect, there's all different levels you can get. You can get ones that go direct to your resort. That's gonna cost more than the ones that stop all over the place. I've heard from a couple of people who took them. They were not a fan. They said Uber would be the way to go. Of course, Uber's more expensive. For me, I still fly. I usually am with people who are driving down or have a car already. So I get picked up at the airport. It's not really a big deal. But if you are just flying with your whole party, it kind of is. It's hard with the rental car shortage too. Those prices have skyrocketed. It's just a very weird thing right now. I'm hoping they'll bring it back. But there's a lot of changes that are not necessarily for the better. And for me to say that about Disney, you know that's not good. So I stayed at Saratoga Springs. It has been, I think, 11 years. I think March of 2011 was the last time I stayed at Saratoga Springs. And it was great to stay there again. I'll be honest, I did something I don't normally do. Normally, I go back to the room during the day, I take breaks, I go to other resorts. It was kind of like go, because I was only there for 3 days. So kind of like left for breakfast and didn't come back. Maybe went back like for a quick hot second to drop stuff off, change during the day, but I really didn't go back to the room. So I'm only basing this off of in the morning, getting ready and going to bed at night. It was very comfortable, the room. I was very impressed by the enhancements. From the minute I walked in Saratoga, the lobby was completely different. I saw Pegasus, I saw like a bunch of Disney horses, which it's cool that they incorporated more of a Disney feel to Saratoga, which I think it was always kind of lacking. So that was awesome. And the rooms too, beautiful artwork in the rooms. The one above the trundle bed was my personal favorite. Kind of gives me like living with the land vibes in a way with the house, but I thought they did such a great job. It's not in your face Disney, it's subtle touches, and it was perfect. It was very clean, the room, and sleek. It was very, very well done. Also, I noticed these around all the resorts. Let me know if you guys know anything about these. I noticed at Polynesian and Saratoga, or Key West, Beach Club, like these transportation and e-ticket signs. Are they at every resort? Is it like a scavenger hunt? I knew nothing about this. I'm assuming it's something for the 50th though, but I can tell you these were not there before. In fact, I don't even think I noticed them in October and December, because those are the two other trips I've taken since the 50th, and I didn't notice them. So let me know if you know anything about them in the comments below. I'm gonna do some research too. Like I said, the crowds were, they were there. I don't think there's such thing as a slow season anymore. I think the weekend in particular was crowded because it was the last weekend of Festival of the Arts. It was also the first nice weekend Florida's had in a while. They've had a lot of rain and chillier temperatures. It was beautiful. I mean, it rained a little bit, I think, on, was it Valentine's Day? Or no, it was Sunday, but it was like a Florida, like a quick little rain thing, nothing major. The weather was beautiful, in my opinion. Right now, it's actually not bad where I am in New York. It's in like the 50s, the low 50s, but it was beautiful. Valentine's Day was chilly, but the other days it was like you had a t-shirt, maybe like a zip-up sweatshirt or a zip-up jacket. I had a really great windbreaker. And I was very comfortable. I was more comfortable than I've been every trip I took last year. It was like May, September, October, December, hot, hot, hot. So it was nice to wear pants. I felt really comfortable wearing pants in the park. I know my next couple of trips is not gonna be that way. This was my second trip since Lightning Lane, because I think Lightning Lane started on my December, or before my December trip. But I didn't really pay attention to it as much in December because I wasn't going on a lot of rides. I was just kind of there for the atmosphere. It was another quick trip. But this trip I wanted to do a lot of rides that I didn't get to in December. So Lightning Lane was definitely, yeah. I was with someone who was in a wheelchair for a day, and it's amazing how they took out even the wheelchair access to have Lightning Lane. Like Buzz Lightyear, you take it through the actual line. So that was kind of rough. But it is what it is. Lightning Lane, you know, you guys probably know how I feel about having to pay for a fast pass, basically, and having to pay for a Magical Express and all that stuff. I think these are things that was beautiful with Disney. They really honored guest servicing, and they don't as much, I felt it this trip. So Lightning Lane, I guess if you're not really going all the time and there's stuff you want to get, maybe then it's worth it. But here's the thing I've noticed, and so many other people here on YouTube or in general are talking about it, what they've done with the wait times. I don't want this to be gospel what I'm saying, but in my experience and a lot of people that I know in their experiences, this is what's been happening with the wait time. It will say a certain time and it will really be a lot lower. Now that's happened in the past. It might say it's 20 minutes and it's like, 15 minutes or so on other trips before Lightning Lane, even when Fast Pass was a thing. But I think they're marking them up so this way you will feel like you have to buy Lightning Lane. My coworker's there right now, and she felt like she had to get everything in. It's her kid's first time in Disney. She felt like she had to buy Lightning Lane. She kind of regrets it now because something like Peter Pan's Flight said 40 minutes. It was 12. Haunted Mansion said 20. It was about 8. Pirates of the Caribbean said 45. It was about 20. So if you're a pro when it comes to Disney, you can kind of look at the line and be like, that it said 40 minutes for Peter Pan, but there was no one standing outside. Like they were walking right into the room in the queue. So I knew it wasn't going to be 40, and the lines moved for the most part. It wasn't like in the beginning of the pandemic where everything was 6 feet apart and it wasn't really moving. Now they're really, really moving. So I've noticed that with Rise of the Resistance. It said 60. I was in and out throughout the whole ride and the queue in 43 minutes. I timed them because I'm a nerd like that, and I was genuinely curious to see how the waits were gonna be, and they were just as I expected, and they were not what the wait time was. Now, that's kind of a cool thing in a way because you feel like, okay, well, it's not as bad as everything looks. I can't say it about Remy's Ratatouille Adventure because the lowest it showed on the app was 115 minutes when I was there. I think when the park closed, it said 80, but I wasn't back in that area to see. I kind of just knew when I saw the crowds, and there was a cheerleading competition, so there was big crowds. I didn't even want to try Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. I was stunned I even got on Rise of the Resistance, but my heart, I love that attraction so much. So just keep in mind, now don't take my word as gospel because it could say 60 and it might genuinely be 60, but this is just what I experienced. So if you have experienced this too, whether it be in Walt Disney World or Disneyland, let us know in the comments below. Quite a few attractions were closed, not just closed for refurbishment, like Big Thunder Mountain was and a couple of other things, but a lot of them had like breakdowns over the weekend too, so I'm not sure what happened there. Space Mountain, I got stuck on Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and the guests in front of us were talking about how it was their third time on it this trip and it broke down every single time. Now, it was about 8 o'clock at night, maybe like 7:45, when the attraction broke down. And what they do, because we were about halfway through, we were in the room where you go into the individual screen when you're like underwater. That's where it broke down. And they actually had to escort us off the ride, which, growing up, I always wanted to get escorted off the Great Movie Ride. Wasn't quite the same, but getting to walk in the tracks was kind of cool. And I actually saw a hidden reference to the Great Movie Ride that I probably wouldn't have seen if I wasn't stuck standing on line in that room. So I'll share that with you guys here. I thought that was really cute. Did you guys know about this? So that made my heart happy to see a little Great Movie Ride touch. but they gave us a lightning lane pass that had to be used that day, and it couldn't be used obviously on Rise and Tower of Terror, which I thought was interesting for Tower of Terror, which had an enormous line this trip. I haven't seen it that long in a while. But they said we could use it on everything else, and it had to be that night. Park closed at 9, so we got on Slinky Dog, which was really fun because it don't get to do that often because of the wait, and we did it at night, which was awesome. And then after that, we still had time to do Rise, so that was cool. But never got to finish my way through Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway this trip, but next trip is right around the corner. Let's talk about one of my favorite parks, Epcot. I got my Spaceship Earth ears on. It's still under so much construction, but they've made a lot of progress in terms of some of it, not all of it. The Moana area still just looks like knocked down buildings, but they have the Guardians Cosmic Rewind is really coming together. That's opening this year. That was very exciting to see above the walls this time because I would have to stand on the wall to try to see something. So it was exciting to see a little bit more of that coming soon. And also walking around Epcot, it was nice to see characters out and about, not just like Goofy and Pluto in the front, but Daisy was out and Donald was out in his Three Caballeros outfit. So it was kind of like getting back to normal. And actually characters in general, it's like getting back to normal because they're not as far away from you, and they're still in the resort lobbies in their 50th outfits. They do that at all the resorts, and I think that's going to continue throughout the 50th, which we'll talk more about the 50th in just a second. So it was really exciting to see that too. But yes, Epcot is still very much under construction, so just think about that. Future World can be hard to travel around to, or just something like even getting to the Creation Shop. You have to go out of your way. There's no direct path, which I'm still not loving Creations, by the way. I mean, I still buy stuff there, and actually every time I'm there, I use the mobile order on the app, which worked out great for me this trip because the line's always so long because there's only 2 registers. Also, there's still a major detour traveling to Epcot. So for me, leaving from Saratoga, it's pretty quick to get to Epcot. No, it's very much out of the way. That's still under construction. That was like that in December. I don't know when that's going to reopen up, but it's kind of like the entrance is near like Swan and Dolphin. So you have to go that way past the Riviera, by the Skyliner territory, and then turn kind of like by that new building they made for Swan and Dolphin. So it's a little out of the way, but you know what? It's temporary. I got to go one of the last days for Festival of the Arts, which is my favorite festival. A lot of the stuff that I had my eye on ahead of time was sold out, especially the Spaceship Earth print. That was so beautiful. I wanted the postcard size of that, and actually they had a 4-pack of 4 of the new ones, which I get every year. Either I pick it up or a friend picks it up for me, and they didn't have it this year. It sold out pretty quick from what I heard. Actually, I feel so bad. A lot of people told me to like look out for certain merch things, and just about everything was sold out. A lot of stuff that I liked was sold out too, so it was kind of hard. But I will say, things came back from like trips ago. So I have been talking about this Monorail mug for probably a year. It came back. I got my hands on it. I will share that in the haul. I'll also share, I cannot believe I got my hands on this. I didn't know I wanted it because I saw it on Instagram and saw it was an 8-hour wait to just try to get it. And I was like, yeah, I don't need it. I don't collect popcorn buckets. The Figment popcorn bucket. When I went on Valentine's Day, it was a Valentine's Day, I guess, exclusive, or they just started it that day, to mobile order. So you know that like Millennium Village building in between Canada and the UK? You had to go there. You had to be there in person to scan a special QR code, and then you could mobile order the popcorn buckets. And they gave you this like Festival of the Arts rainbow popcorn. It was packaged inside of the bucket as well. Of course, the limit is 2 per person. I picked up 2. I picked up 1 for me and 1 for someone else I was with, and I'm so happy I got my hands on Figgy. I kept calling him my Figgy Valentine instead of my Funny Valentine. And everyone you saw that day was walking around with it because it was a really big deal. I talked to Betty over at Betty Says earlier, and she said that they were sold out. She couldn't get her hands on them. So I guess they went pretty quickly, but the setup that they had for it, I mean, I saw hundreds of these Figment buckets in the Millennium Village. It was great that they did it this way. They should do more stuff this way because these lines are out of control. Also, another side thing when it comes to merch, I noticed in December a lot of the stores were bare, there wasn't as many fixtures. They brought fixtures back. I think it all had to do with shipping issues, so you could definitely see some merch came back. Like I said, the Monorail Mug and something else that I had been looking for a couple of trips came back. So we'll talk more about merch in the haul, which is coming soon, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that video. But it was great to be there for Festival of the Arts. I didn't get to see everything I wanted to see. Like, I didn't get to stay for the Broadway show, which I love seeing the Broadway actors. I've seen them before, and it was Josh Strickland, my guy, love him, Tarzan, and Ashley Brown, who is Mary Poppins, and I've seen them before, so I didn't had to stay late for that. But yeah, I wish the next time I go for Festival of the Arts, which I think I'll go around Valentine's Day again, I want to see more of it. I just didn't have enough time, and it was so crowded. 50th atmosphere, very much a thing this trip. Of course, you can't beat being there on the actual 50th. That was the most 50th vibes. December, I feel like it was kind of overshadowed by Christmas. It wasn't on my brain as much, but I felt it more again this trip. They still have the gold statues out. They still have the cavalcade in Magic Kingdom, which is my favorite thing, that song. I love that song so much. You could use it for so many things in your daily life, which, trust me, I do. My friend Brittany was like, I talked about the parade before we went down there, and she was like, yeah, okay. And then she saw it and she was like, why is this the greatest thing I've ever seen? It is. They also had a new cavalcade too, which was really fun, and it had Miguel from Coco and some characters you don't always get to see, Max and Clarabelle, the Three Caballeros, Miko. It was fun. So that was cute. But the 50th, yeah, I felt the 50th vibes again. So I was loving that. And it's going to continue through December, so for the rest of this year. So I highly recommend, if you guys are big Disney people, to make it down, even if it's for a quick weekend, to see the 50th atmosphere. I said the word atmosphere a lot there, didn't I? So like I said, the merch was definitely better this trip. A lot of the new things that were released, like I had a friend who wanted the Harmonious pin and spirit jersey, that was sold out. 50th ornaments were back, but then they sold out by the end of the trip. So it's still certain things you're not gonna see all of. A lot of the 50th merch was not restocked for my trip, but more than it was in December. So I still can't find the Loungefly ears. I know some of you want that. The Loungefly backpack, I've never actually seen in a store there. I'm lucky enough to have it, but that's not restocked. Some of the shirts, a lot of the character collection, which is that blue one that I love so much, a lot of that stuff was not restocked, but they had quite a few things from the iridescent line. That spirit jersey was everywhere. Just not a fan of that. They had a new spirit jersey. You'll see that in the haul. Yeah, I bought way more this trip than I thought I was going to. Thank goodness it was my birthday and I had a lot of gift cards and people buying me stuff, because my wallet would have been suffering. We watched Enchantment one of the nights, and it's still just as crowded as it was when it first launched. I think the entire run of this fireworks show, and probably Harmonious too, is going to be packed. I mean, no matter how early you line up, it's still going to pack in time for fireworks. So be aware of that. I thought it was going to be different this trip. I mean, I had a great view, but I lined up the half hour, 45 minutes beforehand. But just keep in mind, if you want to see that, if it's your only time to see it, get in line. We'll get in a good spot ahead of time. Also, those Mickey ear popcorn buckets for the 50th, all the colors were restocked. I saw pink, green, gold, I think it was a blue. They were all in Magic Kingdom as well. So stuff is coming back. And I remember on the 50th, the line was so long for those. So they are back. I did not see the Mickey popcorn bucket, the mini sipper, right? That's the sipper in Cosmic Rays. Did see that, didn't get it. But I know quite a few people still want to get their hands on it, but I think it will come back. I don't think it's as limited edition as people thought. And that could be said about a lot of things. I thought I would never see that Monorail mug. I've talked about it many times on this channel, but I got it. I got two of them, one for me and one for a friend. So there can be miracles if you believe. Something I want to stress, if you're going down, make sure you make those dining reservations 60 days in advance. While the park occupancy, I'm convinced, is back at 100, the dining reservation-wise is only at 75%. Some restaurants it's less depending on how they space out. I noticed that in Olivia's, some booths were not open. But you can do walk-ups. It's very rare that you can get in, but they were turning most people away in most places with dining reservations. So 60 days in advance, not 180 like it was, it's now 60, and make sure to make those park reservations. After 2 o'clock, you can park hop, no problem. I was a little concerned on Valentine's Day I wouldn't be able to get to Magic Kingdom, but it was no problem. There's so much Disney news that's been released lately, like starting tomorrow from the day I'm filming this, you can actually not wear your mask if you're vaccinated, fully vaccinated indoors in attractions, which there's no way for them to check that. So it's the whole honor system. But my friend is down there now and she said most people are like walking around without a mask anyway. So outside, you don't have to wear it. Indoors, you don't have to wear it in an attraction like the Haunted Mansion. However, if you're taking a Disney bus, monorail, Skyliner, transportation system, you still have to wear the mask there. So it's gonna be really nice. I'm looking forward to being on the People Mover and not having to wear a mask. That's gonna be nice. For the most part, I didn't do any big like dining, sit down. Did them for breakfast, did it for one other meal, lunch or dinner, I don't even remember what I did. But I did a lot of quick service things because it was just a quick trip. You didn't want to spend a lot of money on that stuff either. I will say the Walt's chili, it's offered in quite a few of the resorts. Polynesian has it at Captain Cook's. I got mine at Riverside. So freaking good. I obviously got it without the cheddar cheese on top because I can't have cheese. But it was incredibly good. And when it's a little chillier out, chef's kiss. Okay, so I think that's all I have to share with you guys. I'll probably share some more little tidbits too, and a lot of merch coming in that Walt Disney World haul. So stay tuned for that. Probably gonna be in the next video. I have some more goodies to share too. You guys have been amazing with birthday gifts. We have a lot of things to talk about. I feel like every day there's new Disney things being released and more, but I just wanted to give you a little insight on how my trip was. I didn't vlog at all while I was there. It was a very personal trip, so I just wanted to kind of be in the moment and enjoy. However, I took so many videos and pictures on my new phone because my phone was so outdated and so full with storage. By the way, that's a new phone case. I love it. As I took so much, so I will share as much as possible. I didn't post anything on Instagram. Like I said, it was a very personal trip, but I wanted to give you guys a little insight. So thanks so much for hearing me ramble about Walt Disney World. Let me know if you're heading down to the parks anytime soon. I think the next time I'm going is in May, so it's gonna be hot, but I'm excited to be back because I miss it already. You know, that Disney withdrawal, it is real, that Disney depression. I will talk to you guys soon. Hope you're doing well. I am Christina K. Have a Disney day.